Hello, ladies and Germans, how are you doing? This is Connor.
This is Rangru, hello.
And folks, don't adjust your sets. Yes, we are on Orsha North today, and yes, we do see Tonnoman again today, but what's he bringing to the fray and who's he fighting?
Well, on left-hand side in the blue, the guy I just spoke about is playing 17th SS with a Maverick income. Right-hand side in red, we have an Xstark playing 8th Cavalry, also with a Maverick income.
So as you kind of kindly reminded me, we did see Tonnoman last week pick up the 17th SS against the Finns. I won't ruin how that went. But why are we seeing such a resurgence, the renaissance, if you will, of the SS and the 17th?
I honestly think a pretty decent 1v1 division. They got a couple light armor for early CQC play. Stugs and Jagdpanzers are extremely meta for mid-range tanks. Good artillery, decent enough anti-air. They're pretty solid, just as long as you don't get into any crazy infantry brawls. Even then, you got SS Legionary. They just have tools for most occasions.
And isn't that what you want? Don't you want the Gerber division to kind of handle a lot of material? I think that makes sense. Now, what we did see over here, though, too, is that the Romanians were forcing the little bit of that push, the Volksdeutsche, 3 Flammenwerfer teams, to dump out super early, but Tonnoman will not be dissuaded. He's already up 15-9.
Yeah, actually playing quite effectively in the center, which I love seeing people do on Orsha North. People are always so scared of the center, but especially 17th SS with those heavy tank, medium is heavy tank destroyers and anti-tank guns. You might as well try to play in the open ground, especially against a division which lacks a lot of long-range armored punch.
Well, and what's more than that, too, I mean, I like the fact that, especially when you have the recon, and geez, I was lamenting about this earlier in the week. If you have recon, use the vision, and he's doing that. He's got IG-18s, he's got the 233, a lot of junk over here to start hurling down the middle part of that range.
Yeah, he's got a pretty decent fire support on that hill, and he's using it quite effectively to, extend his presence to the town and the center here. I do like it, and honestly, Xstark has not been able to really punish it. The machine guns were not in a good enough position, and he's a bit more focused pushing south. It's going quite well for him, but losing that town can be a huge pain.
I mean, he did have a couple of early of those ZB-53s. A couple were in that town, but one got caught out, I think, by that Pioneer Führer, the Pentagon Der Führer, who's still there. And the rest of the troops, just with all of that ground fire, yeah, the machine gun can't do a whole lot. We see 47 mil to North Central goes down to the IG-18 up there. And I don't know, I feel like Romanians, their gameplay is stick to the trees. You're not going to be able to entertain out in the open. You got to play the Robin Hood strategy here.
Yeah, they got to really play heavy up north and down south on the flanks. I mean, they got a whole lot of fantastic CQC infantry. They just need to, like you said, play Robin Hood, try not to even engage too much in the open.
Unfortunately, though, they're going to have to do something because it is now 16-8. Dear Lord.
Yeah, he's honestly had a pretty... Apart from down south, up north and center is very defensive from him. You haven't really seen any plays up north, which you really need to start trying to focus on. It just seems he's very stretched all over, even this early into the match.
Well, the Tyran 2 does get a nice little kill. Unfortunately for him, there's Legionary that's continued to kind of creep up behind him, as well as a Pack 38 and the IG-18s and the Stug 4. Yeah, the Tyran side doesn't have a chance.
Yeah, it was just an execution squad.
Yeah. It very, very much was. Zrini, in the meantime, though, Zrini is now on the pitch, and he's going back the other direction. He's like, you know what? You killed my brother, prepare to die. Of course, I say that realizing that that's probably a bit of an identity crisis for him.
Yeah, get some good hits in the IG-18, but once again, not exactly something you want to be advertising out in the open, as that Psych 4 is putting some rather good shots downrange. Oh, J87 was trying to come in to drop some bombs, but got intercepted a little bit.
I'm not sure what zip code he's aiming for, because he looks like he's just taking a flyover.
Maybe he's looking to bomb Romania.
Oh, well,
Germany, Berlin.
I said, looks he's going to have a nice little holiday in Romania. Unfortunately for him, defecting is not what you do in a Ju-87. Especially with bombs under the wings. I figure most people kind of probably frown on that. Not as much as those P-Grunts are going to frown in the trees, because like you said, we are seeing the full display of Romanian just chutzpah in those trees.
Yep, and he just really needs to keep it up here. The Legionaries aren't going to be a huge pain, the same with any Flammenwerfers or Stormtroopers, but he can afford to trade like that. He's got some Vanatories trying to get into the town, actually catching the Flammenwerfers off guard before they can actually get ambushed. Good on him. So if he can get back his town sooner rather than later, that should stabilize things.
Well, and up to the northern side, Xstark has not really stabilized per se, but he has certainly stemmed the bleeding, let's put it that way.
Yeah, at the same time, Tonnoman isn't exactly interested in pushing up north. He's got the decent fire base with the Vogtdeutsche and the Flammenwerfers really just to, hoist up that flag.
Certainly does seem to be the case, doesn't it? Now, I'm waiting to see. I mean, it's a Zarini Stug fight, which is kind of humorous in all the wrong ways.
Yeah.
Especially as the one round goes so slowly, and the other one kind of actually fires like a tank round.
Yeah, but the dedicated anti-tank run does end up getting the kill, and that Stug 4 is going to be able to exert its presence, dealing with the door pusher, same as the mortars, helping out. But the Pioneers and Xstark's infantry is really starting to lock down south, actually catching these grenadiers in the open.
That is certainly the case for now, but I feel like if they just kind of moved into those long houses, that should be enough. Terran, in the meantime, though, coming on out, it's kind of fun to see the Terran be such a beast in combat. By the same token, we do see a couple of Jagdpanzers, Hetzers at that, in the center, so they're going to be engaging a lot of this lighter German equipment that's getting caught out into that town. This is a very, very strange fight, because as a Ju-87 from the blue side, from Tonnoman's side, he wants eyes on those Hetzers desperately. But he has no anti-aircraft net.
Yeah, it definitely feels that Tonnoman has lost a lot of his early momentum. Xstark's done pretty good, just stemming the tide and honestly just getting back to town. But still, this feels very scattered from all sides here. I mean, we got pushes in the center, but it's just very spread out, and we got a bit more heavy investment in aircraft now. Oh, Ju-87 comes in, gets a kill.
He certainly does. He certainly does. Planes like that almost make me want to play flight simulators, and then I realized that I would just find myself completely frustrated by the fact that I'm firing these giant cannons and missing every single time. I can't for the life of me do basic trig. How the heck am I going to be flying and aiming a cannon to hopefully hit the tiniest part of it? Yeah.
I fully agree with you, Khan. The money invested, get it working properly, the controls, and it's super like you said, super frustrating when you're playing a flight simulator, and pretty much the majority of it is just trying to do maneuvers, so you have half a second to press the actual shooty button. I want to press the shooty button more.
Exactly.
I don't want to only have 15 seconds of shooty. That's no fun.
Now, this is a bit of a tangent here. We're going to see, in the meantime, Stug and a Hetzer engaging one another. Hetzer goes down. When I was a child, Chuck E. Cheese was the nightmare-inducing place that spawned things like Five Nights at Freddy's. But they had a flight simulator game that the entire thing was just spam the missile key and just hold down on the cannon button as much as you wanted to. Now, I don't know what our audience is out there. I don't know if this game is still out there out of Chuck Entertainment Cheese. But not for nothing, those are the flight simulators I want to play. Those are the shootiness that I want to kind of consistently do.
Ace Combat.
Is that what it was?
Yeah. Ace Combat's similar. It's more of an arcade game, but it's much more fun.
It would not surprise me. All I know is it cost me 2 or 3 tokens at the time. I mean, inflation now, it probably was 6 or 7 at this point.
God.
But,
truly downhill for arcades.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But then the Star Wars one came in, and that thing was just a lot of fun anyway. In the meantime, Xstark has taken the flag advantage, which is kind of funny. We are into Phase B. So this one will get all the Resorier assaults and the Calarasis, and heck, maybe, just maybe, a couple of those 75 mils for the anti-tank rolls. But could this be when Jagdpanzers and Nebelwerfers turn back around? I don't know. I don't know if I believe in it yet.
Yeah, what we're seeing is Tonnoman's investing more and more heavy into the center to try to make his push happen. Well, Xstark's done a pretty good job just kind of holding the flanks, and on one hand, Tonnoman can be pushing the center, playing it effectively, and I do love seeing that, but it also puts you at risk to getting shot at from the sides, which you want to try and avoid, because if he does lose, these Stugs and Jagdpanzers, he's gonna be in for a bad time. But still, the fighting just feels very like scattered and small. We're not seeing big blobs of dudes duke it out. It's like infantry support guns and other squads just kind of engage mano to mano.
But that's the thing, is that if you noticed, Tonnoman, when he had that nice, strong base of fire right in the middle of his lines, everything was going grand. It truly, truly was. On the flip side, he's lost a couple of his Stogs. He's lost some of his recon vehicles. He doesn't have the same vision that he did before, and it's showing.
Okay, he's just kind of fighting a bit blindly. He probably does need to make his middle push happen, but yeah, it's going to be a little bit difficult. That door pusher to the south could prove to be a little bit of a pain, especially if he has an efficient shot as well. And like you said, he needs some recon. And he does have some. He kind of needs it.
I kind of hate the fact that I brought up the whole door knocker thing. So you made the door pusher, because now I have the door knocker, the door pusher, and probably the door battering ram, I guess. Would that
the
be
door
Pack 40?
destroyer is the Pack 40.
Yeah, it's got
then
okay. And then the
Pack 43 would be like the door obliterator.
Got you.
Yeah. Many different layers of doors.
Exactly. I'm starting to have like a Mossberg kind of like, siege entry in my mind here. the Tachanka of entries. Northern side, very, very passive. Both guys decide, you know what, our energy and micro needs to happen down south. Volksdeutsche in the open, engaging a 47 mil. I would say this is an unfair fight to the Volksdeutsche, but only because they don't carry really a whole lot of machine gun ammo. But he still might be able to take it out before he gets killed by the Venatori de Garda, so we'll see.
Yeah, but no, he does get stressed out here. But Zera back down to a pretty static Trove. I mean, Tonnoman has meant to build up a decent base of fire, actually getting some heavy artillery. I don't know, this match feels weird and static. Like, neither side is doing great, but they're not doing terrible either. It's very much anyone's game still. At the same time, a Tonnoman does have a huge points lead, and Maverick, that does help.
It certainly does. And we're in the early part of B, though, too. So we're going to see a couple of cheeky kills happen. BF-09 comes on in. And Stug engaging as those forwards going south to north. I'm looking east to west right now. That's 75 mil I have something to say about this.
And we're also seeing a pretty heavy investment of infantry from Tonnoman into the northern town. I'm guessing he's going to try to do some push into the northern hill here. There's not a whole lot of fire support. Really, okay, there's actually quite a bit being brought up. The Zrini 2. Not really the Zrini 2. The 75mm anti-tank gun, that's a scary thing here. It's going to be about whether he has enough fire support to deal with that rather nasty heavy gun.
Well, he's got the naval, so the naval theoretically could be enough. I'm concerned a little bit right now about the Jagdpanzer itself. As a 75mm just starts putting indirect fire into the peak run, which I think is actually the right play here.
Yep. Trying to soften that position up because it seems he's trying to move up his Calasari or Cagliari up into that central position.
Yes, the Calamaris are being moved forwards, and the Stug is going, he's going someplace where little tankers go when they have to get their wings.
I could destroy some calamari right now, Khan, now that you mention it.
That's true. Actually, I was having a very deep discussion with a couple of friends of mine the other day, and we were talking about how sushi is really just fishy burritos. So, I just, your calamari comment just really, really kind of, it lands for me.
I never thought about it like that, but it's That's a very true statement. Probably the truest thing I heard all week.
Exactly. Sushi, Japanese Chipotle.
Yeah.
With
Think of everything, man.
exactly. It's good to see how much rice is in it. Northern side, Venator de Garda making a nice little push. They're going to get shoved back. So, a little bit of friskiness, nothing to really write home about, but I think we're still going to be seeing JU-87s being brought on in to maybe shake up that front line to the north, because I think Xstark is seeing, hey, Tonnoman is up in tickets right now, and I don't know how to push him back.
Yeah, he's got decent defense, but the problem, he can't really afford an attrition war of long-range tanks, because he's going to run out of those long-range tanks and anti-tank firepower much faster than what Tonnoman can. So eventually, if Tonnoman can just keep grinding here, even if he's losing stuff to 1-to-1, that's not that bad.
Yes, that is certainly true. I'm sorry, Tonnoman at this point, I start thinking of sea shanties, like when the Tonnoman comes to bring us Mutters and Stokes and some. But that's as far as I got to really writing that particular verse. Getting back to the game in the meantime. That Abuzi, the 75 mil in the meantime, the KFRFFF, I don't know what that alphabet soup kind of stands for, but for right now, he certainly is taking a name or two and pushing back that northern push.
Mm-hmm. Buying him some time. That's always the problem, just pushing infantry out in the open there, because, bro, out in the open, compared to just trying to rush them up in the trucks. Oh, I heard that neighbor for fire.
Yep, down south, trying to make way for those 4 squads coming on in. So they're not going to get too far. I think you probably should have waited maybe 10 or 15 seconds longer, but nice idea. It's a nice idea.
And it's a bit of an artillery drill, really, now.
It certainly is, which is, again, kind of such a strange thing to be kind of considering. I think this is Tonnoman not feeling desperate, but I certainly think he's worried right now. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, he has time which he can kill, because he does have a nice little points lead, and so he's just investing more and more in heavy stuff where he can in B phase and not fully committing it yet, because you don't want to be losing it soon. There is actually starting to commit a bit down south. It's actually getting a decent amount of those SS Legionaries. Not a whole lot of direct fire support to back him up, but the southern side's been pretty worn out here from Xstark, actually.
Oh, and that's where he's bringing in his Rini and attack him, and a lot of different Calarasis and everything like that as well. So, I mean, it's a good call. It's a truly good call. There is a 100 mil Skoda down south that's trying to find that 105 behind the lines. And I'm kind of interested to see where the next naval strike goes. If it were me, I actually would be targeting that southern blockhouse. I have a ton of troops going on in. Let's hit that, let's suppress that, and potentially, at least if nothing else, kill some of that cover. That's my thinking, anyway.
Mm-hmm. We're just trying to use it for some counter-battery fire here. But if his southern push actually goes well here for Tonnoman, he should be able to stabilize it once again. And if he can stabilize it, really the match is on his side, just once again, due to attrition.
If it's good. But the Kawasimotos, these guys are being thrown on forwards, and they're going to get caught out on the road. So this is a donation. It's very kind of them, actually. But 60 points of donation. That's not the kind of losses you want to be taking here.
Nope. And then all the fire support from the hill, which actually is... Actually, I forgot how good of line of sight you get from that hill to the other hill.
Mm-hmm.
Is going to be doing a whole lot of damage here.
Yes, it will, which is why we're back to a 12-12. What's left of the first Calarasi squad is misting over the second Calarasi squad. And I think the biggest thing here is if the Zerini goes down, that's how you know things are really, really dire.
Mm-hmm. And the SS Legionari are nearby, and they could get that Panzerfaust shot out if they just maneuver to hit it.
That's true. They could, but he's falling back. So it's a very, very kind of passive moment here. There was a ton of BF-109s in the area, but now there's just one Ju-88 coming from the Romanians. It's going to absolutely obliterate these Legionari as they come on in. It's up to the Hero Flak 37 to... Oh, no. You know, I can't tell sometimes if it's better when a medium-heavy bomber comes on through to stress him out or just to let him drop and hope that my troops get out of the way. I truly don't know.
Because if he drops the bombs and gets stressed out and takes a lot of damage, I do believe that's like a super long repair time compared to just repairing and not dropping bombs.
Fair. I think I was looking from the perspective of the spread sometimes is almost worse, especially when it's like 500 kilogram bombs.
Oh, yeah.
So
Sometimes you do want that spread. Too bad I can't set it as like an option. Like, yeah, I want you to purposely be inaccurate, please.
exactly. Don't give me that German efficiency. Give me a little bit of a spread. Naval is theoretically going to launch on that complex. He's waiting for one more Legionary squad to come on in, and 105s, are they engaging up there too? No, they're engaging to the north. Interesting. All the way up to the north, I mean, we are into sea. There's a couple TACMs, and there's Calarasi and material over there, yonder. I get the feeling that Tonnoman, if he wanted to, could probably push through here.
Yeah, it honestly feels like both sides are just playing balanced with just how, small back and forth skirmishy it's been. But with just the B phase investments, Tonnoman's definitely come out on top, just zooming out here, especially of his rather nasty armored support, which he hasn't really lost that many tanks, which is a good thing in a war to not lose tanks.
That's true. Barrage in the meantime does come down south, and yep, it takes out nearly every single one of those blocks, including the Zrini somehow. Legionary coming out, absolutely obliterate the Vanatori, absolutely obliterate that 40 mil Bofors, and Xstark does see the writing on the wall and taps out, which I completely agree with as well.
Yeah, and KD not that far off, only like a 470 difference, but Tonnoman managed to redeem himself and get a dub.
Certainly does. Xstark, just not see if he has any kind of craziness. Not a whole lot. A couple guys with more than one kill or two, but for the most part, the Romanians being very gentlemanly, spreading out the kills. The other direction, Franz, a Zrini, a Turan, a Jagdpanzer, probably the most killy material that we're going to see. And that is absolutely the case.
Yeah. Pretty standard, slow match. More, trading efficiently, but really Xstark, he needed to be playing much more aggressively on the flanks and forcing that fight and momentum over in that area rather than just letting Tonnoman, very easily, just build up his scary armored force and be like, hey, do you want to engage us now? And Xstark went, no, I'm good.
Yeah, that's so unfortunate, but at the same time, we've seen Xstark every now and again, this happens. But well done, Tonnoman, well done. Nice to see you bring the 17th over here to victory. Well done, sir. Any final thoughts, sir?
Nope.
In that case, folks, until next time, I'm Con Ulrich.
I'm Rangru. Take it easy.